And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to NNSCRA Season 6 as we get started with the Sprint Unlimited practice here today. Now, this is a slightly different thing than what we've done in recent seasons, and I will explain it to you as we see several drivers peeling off pit road. Dylan Young, George Roque, they've already headed off of pit road. We just saw Danny Wells and Anthony McCurry. We'll be talking about a lot of these drivers during the course of this practice session. It's going to be about 15 minutes long. There goes the 34. That's a one-race deal here this week with Alex DeMarco. I'll be talking about that as well. But first off, while these guys are rolling off pit road, let me quickly talk to you about what this is all about. This practice session is not only the opportunity for drivers that are in this Sprint Unlimited to find out what kind of cars they've got once we arrive on Sprint Unlimited night. This is also the opportunity for drivers to be able to kind of figure out where they're going to be taking their draw numbers from. That's right. This is going to be an entirely different concept than what we've ever done here in the first non-points race of the season. These drivers are going to race around for 15 minutes. The highest speed is going to be drawer number 1 when we end up drawing the starting positions for the Sprint Unlimited. You remember how they used to do it in the Bud Shootout? The NASCAR drivers would go, they would pick a flag out of a bottle, and that would be their starting position. That's what we're going to be doing here. However, whoever has the fastest time here today, they're going to be drawing first. Whoever gets the slowest time today, they will be drawing last. And it really could end up being wherever these drivers end up scoring in this practice session could be the key between whether or not they're going to start on the pole or start dead last in the Sprint Unlimited. Time to get rolling off here. Let's jump to our first driver who headed onto the racetrack. I think he just passed by the start-finish line. There he is, heading into turn number 1 and 2. Returning to the newly formed Penske Germain Racing, as both those teams have now merged into what I believe is a 5-car effort now. Dylan Young back in the Blue Deuce, and Dylan Young, he ended up having a pole back at Champs-Élysées. That was a road course. As I recall, I think John Cittadino ended up winning that race, but Dylan Young trying to get himself into the chase this season in that 2-car. Trying to remember if he was a winner in the Snickers Cup Series. It almost seems like he wasn't last season. I know he had 2 wins over in Mobile Cup Series competition. He also made the chase in the Truck Series, so he's obviously trying to get the same kind of success over here in the Snickers Cup. Right behind him is one of our one-race deals. We've got about 7 or 8 drivers who are running one-race deals here who were not able to make signups for Season 6, but they were not penalized due to the fact that they didn't make the signups. They are in a one-race deal here after having a pole last season. Zach Campbell, representing Roush Fenway Racing in the 97 on Sprint Unlimited night. He is right there. Whoa, man, almost made some contact there with Dylan Young. And he's actually the fastest car on the racetrack right now is Zach Campbell. Campbell had his pole back at New Hampshire. So Roush Fenway Racing going to be represented there by the 97 with Zach Campbell behind the wheel. There's another one-race deal. It's Rohe Vidarvu in the 32 tied Toyota Camry. Vidarvu actually was tied for second highest amount of poles last season. He had 3 of them, Las Vegas, Infineon, and Zenjoltas. He was tied with Guido Savotas, and the highest pole position holder last season actually is not in the Sprint Unlimited. He did not sign up, and that's Trent Whitney, who had 4 poles at California, Darlington, Richmond, and Indianapolis. As a matter of fact, Trent Whitney and Callum Wales are the only two drivers that are not in the Sprint Unlimited that were eligible to make this race. So everybody else got in here one way or another, and there is the defending champion, John Cittadino, in the 42 car, trying to come into Season 6, defending his title, a 6-time winner last season, and he'd love to start off the season by winning the Sprint Unlimited. This will be his first Sprint Unlimited, actually, because last season he was a rookie and was not eligible. There's the guy he ended up beating out for the championship last season, former champion in his own right, Sean Henley, in the 25. Trying to see where Henley's poles ended up coming from. Well, he actually didn't win any poles last season, but he gets in being the Season 5 Budweiser Shootout winner. He ended up, I remember, winning the Bud Shootout and the Gatorade Duel he was in. Couldn't capitalize on winning the 500 and making a trifecta, but we'll see how he does here this Speed Weeks in Season 6. To his inside, returning to the 20, that's Charles Jackson for Joe Gibbs Racing. Charles Jackson had a pole at Michigan last season, which has entered him into this event. There's Hayden Klein. He was a chaser last season. That is how he is in this race today, as well as being a pole sitter at Talladega last season. That was the next to last race. And he's driving that number 27, which Rohit Vedara was able to put on the pole 3 times last season. So we'll see if he can produce the same amount of speed this season in that 27 that Vedara was able to produce in it in Season 5. And he's going to the inside now of Jake Cole, who's back in that 39. He was in that ride, I believe, back in either Season 3 or Season 4, so he's back with Stewart Haas Racing. Nice reunion there. Jake Cole comes in because he had a pole last season back at Iowa. As you see the 27 peeling off pit road, here's another former Bud Shootout winner in a one-race deal. That's Logan Wilson. He won the Season 3 Budweiser Shootout. And he's representing Richard Childress Racing here today. He's got his teammate actually going right beneath him, Adam Chambers, who was a contender for the championship last season, now moving over to the 29. Kind of interesting that he's going over to Richard Childress Racing, which was the team in which he won his only Snickers Cup Series championship when he drove the 27 back in Season 2. Just ahead is Anthony McCurry. Now Chambers, I forgot to mention, Chambers ended up getting into this Sprint Unlimited because I think he had a pole last season. Yes, he did. He had it at Kansas. Anthony McCurry there, he ends up getting into this event because of a pole at Phoenix. And you can see he's running a brand new paint scheme there too in the 61. That's going to be his new primary paint scheme there with Vocaloid, and I don't remember what the sponsorship is underneath the hood. But a nice looking paint scheme there from McCurry, 14th fastest right now as we speak. There's Danny Wells in the 31. Danny Wells back with Richard Childress Racing for another season. 31 Mountain Dew Code Red going to be his primary sponsor this season. And Danny Wells had a pole at Homestead Miami Speedway, which got him into today's event. Behind him, you got Cole Daly, who made the chase last season with the 17 and Roush Fenway, so that made him eligible for this event, and he's got his teammate all over the back bumper of him, Matthew Rodriguez, who was the Season 2 Budweiser Shootout winner, and that is why he is in the event here today. There's another single-car race team. Actually, there's 2 of them. 2 single-car one-race deal teams. The 8 of Chris Dollerton and the 81 of Wido Savotas, who, remember, we told you had 3 poles last season. Talladega, Watkins Glen, and Atlanta. Dollerton ended up having a pole before he was replaced by Madison Sieber last season, and that ended up coming at Daytona. Let's go to his inside line. That's Richard Johnson in the 11. Richard Johnson ended up having 2 poles, Texas and Lime Rock, and he's representing Joe Gibbs Racing. And then there is James McLeod there in the 51. McLeod ended up having a pole at Kentucky. That's going to have him representing Tweenix Racing in the Sprint Unlimited. Let's jump back here. So a big pack of cars back here. There's Aaron Williams Jr. in the 24. Aaron Williams Jr. had a pole at Supercell, 2 wins last season. We'll see what he can do here this season. And there's a big news right there. A lot of people were expecting to see the Danica Patrick Chevrolet for Stewart Haas Racing in the 10. Well, thank heavens, Joshua Michaels decided to become a 4th team for Ray Abraham Motorsports. He'll be driving the 10 Dodge. Joshua Michaels ended up having a pole back at Pocono. Whoa, they're really running all over Jake Cole there. That was close. There's George Roque. He's in an Earnhardt Ganassi racing car for one race, as he's driving the 01 U.S. Army Chevrolet. George Roque ended up having a pole last season at Texas. And then back here is Madison Sieber in the 33. Remember, she replaced Chris Dollerton, but Dollerton had a pole before he was replaced, so he's in this event. So is Madison Sieber. Madison Sieber had a pole back at Coca-Cola, representing the Richard Childress Racing team. There's Emilio Navarrete in the 99. Navarrete returning back to the Roush Fenway Racing Stables, where he drove the 6 back in seasons 3 and 4. And now he's in the 99. Navarrete had a pole at Bristol. Right behind him is Jake Rogers, driving in a one-race deal there for Everham Motorsports. He's actually got his teammate right behind him there in Barney Ward. Jake Rogers had a pole last season, actually 2 poles, at Atlanta and Dover when he drove the 93 for BK Racing. There is Barney Ward in the 43. Barney Ward had a pole last season at... I'm trying to find it. Oh, he didn't have a pole last season. He made the Chase, and that's why he's in this event. So, just about every one of the of the Everham Motorsports cars, with the exception, I believe, of Drew Austin and James Silverfox, are in this. There's Alex DeMarco, who actually was a Everham Motorsports driver last season. He's driving a one-race deal here for Front Row Motorsports, as they're really having trouble getting around John Cittadino there. And Alex DeMarco's pole last season came at Pocono Raceway. Oh, there's another driver that we haven't talked about. Kyle Sosnowski. There's Dylan Poteet returned to the racetrack. Sosnowski driving with his good buddy Dylan Young for Penske Germain Racing this season in the 22. And Sosnowski's win came all the way at the Daytona 500 last season. So we'll see if he can produce the same amount of speed here today. Let's jump back to Poteet. We saw a return to the racetrack. There he is. Dylan Poteet currently 5th fastest on the racetrack. Poteet ended up getting into this event because of making the Chase. No poles last season, as he's being bypassed by 2 one-race deal drivers. Austin Ogo driving the 96 for Joe Gibbs Racing here today. And Austin Ogo had a pole at Kansas. And to his inside, Red Bell, who was the Season 4 Budweiser Shootout winner. She's driving the 93 in a one-race deal for BK Racing. See if there's anybody else I failed to mention here. Oh, there's one driver, Pichu London, back in the 26, but not for Michael Waltrip Racing this season. He's driving the one-race deal for Roush Fenway. Pichu London ended up having a pole, actually 2 poles, back at Castle Gorge and Arizona when he drove the 26 Toyota. And there's Mary Cole, who gets into this by making the Chase last season in her rookie season. She is going to be in her 2nd season for Tweenix Racing, no longer a rookie, however. I believe I may have actually covered every driver on the racetrack here, so we can maybe start concentrating on who's running the fastest times. Looking through here, I don't see... Oh, there is one driver I haven't talked about. Michael Norman for Michael Norman Motorsports, a single-car race team this season. Michael Norman ended up having a pole at Supercell last year, which got him into today's event. As we have just a little under... Well, just a little over 2 minutes, I should say. And who is the fastest on the track right now? Let's find out. And they're saying it's Aaron Williams Jr., who, if this thing ended right now, would get the first draw in the Sprint Unlimited draw for who would start where. McLeod is 2nd. Dollerton, that one-race deal, is 3rd. Navarrete 4th. Whitehouse Botas 5th. Then it's Poteet, George Roque, Richard Johnson, Madison Sieber, and Alex DeMarco, currently the top 10 speeds. On the flip side, let's see what the bottom 10 look like. Austin Ogo's 25th, Michael Norman 26th, Fade Arbu 27th, 28th place. That is, my memory just failed on me right there. The 97 is, I'm looking right now, trying to figure it out. Oh yeah, Zach Campbell, Mary Cole, Red Bell, Dylan Young, Sean Henley, Charles Jackson, all way down on the speed charts. And there you see McLeod on pit road, Botas on pit road, and Dollerton. That's a whole bunch of the drivers inside the top 5 as far as speeds. As Aaron Williams Jr. pulls into his pit stall, maybe going to give it one more run here as we've got just a little under a minute to go. He's going for a 4-tire stop. He better hurry if he's going to go out there and turn some more laps. Maybe they're just working on pit stops now. Who knows? 45-second mark as this is almost over. The practice here to determine who's going to be in what order for the draw in the Season 6 Sprint Unlimited as far as where these drivers will start that event. Aaron Williams Jr., though, really strong car. And keep in mind, Aaron Williams Jr. actually had a really good car last season at Daytona, but he and his teammate Kyle Sosnowski then really did not have a whole lot of team communication. I remember Aaron Williams Jr. was actually leading, I think it was on the final lap of their Gatorade duel, and he got turned by Kyle Sosnowski, his own teammate. So Aaron Williams Jr. has always brought some good cars to Daytona, just never seems to have luck go his way. And right now, looks like luck may go his way as he is going to, looks like, be the fastest car in practice here today. He got in 16 laps. His fastest lap was 203.202 miles per hour. And NASCAR is notifying these cars practice is nearly over, 20 seconds, and this practice will be complete. Aaron Williams Jr. just out there logging a few more laps, I guess. Because I think it's going to be pretty certain nobody is going to beat his time of just over 203.2. Pretty impressed, though, with a lot of these one-race deal drivers. Dollerton, Widos Avotas, George Roque, and Alex DeMarco all placing inside the top 10 with their rides. And we're still being given another 30 seconds of practice here for these guys, so whenever NASCAR decides practice is over, then we will show you the official speeds and the order in which these drivers will be drawing their numbers. Trying to look here, see if there's any really one dominant team, and right now it doesn't look like it. You got Hendrick, Tweenix, Earnhardt Ganassi, Roush Fenway. Oh, it's over. Alright, so practice is over. And there you got Joe Gibbs Racing and Roush Fenway represented there in the top 5 too. So really no one team was really that dominant here today. As you look down here, this is the order in which these drivers will be making their draws for seeing where they will start in the Season 6 Sprint Unlimited. Aaron Williams Jr. will get the first draw as he was fastest here today. McLeod will be second, Dollerton third, Navarrete fourth, Avotas fifth, Poteet 6th, Roque 7th, Richard Johnson 8th, 9th Madison Seaver, and Alex DeMarco will be 10th. Chambers will be 11th. The defending champ, John Cittadino, will be 12th. Rogers 13th, Danny Wells 14th, Sosnowski 15th, 16th will be Barney Ward, Logan Wilson 17th, 18th Hayden Klein, 19th Joshua Michaels, and Cole Daly will be 20th. 21st will be McCurry, 22nd will be Matthew Rodriguez, 23rd Jake Cole, 24th Pichu London, Austin Ogo 25th, Michael Norman 26th, Dylan Young 27th, Rohit Vidarvu will be 28th. 29th will be Zach Campbell, Mary Cole 30th, Red Bell 31st, Sean Henley 32nd, and Charles Jackson will draw last. So, Aaron Williams Jr. certainly showing off some muscle here today. The fastest car in Bud Shootout, or in Sprint Unlimited practice, I should say. Be interesting to see if drawing first will be the key to him starting on the front row or wherever he wants to start. We'll have to see where all these drivers are going to start, as we will be having, I don't know if it's going to be a live stream or just some random video showing the drawing results and everything, but nonetheless, congratulations to Aaron Williams Jr. on a very fast practice here today. He paced the field, and he wins practice here today. Hope you guys will be tuning in for the rest of the stuff going on here during Speed Weeks. We, of course, have the draw for the Sprint Unlimited, then the Sprint Unlimited itself. Then we will also have Daytona 500 qualifying, as well as the Gatorade duels. So hope you'll be tuning in for all those before we come to our first Truck Series Mobile Cup Series races, as well as capping it off with the Daytona 500, the 6th annual running of the Great American Race. You've been watching a production of the NNSCRA, offline racing at its best.